Now I want to give a few minutes to Joe Lynch here, N6CL.
Thank you, Steve. This is a bold advertisement. I am the VHF editor for CQ magazine, and I am the editor of CQ Vhf magazine. You see a stack of magazines out there. We furnished copies for everyone who has registered, free copy. Obviously, we're trying to get subscriptions, but I want to say that we've been around for about 7 years, and it's a quarterly publication. We're a niche publication. We're technical, we're kind of technical light. You heard from Larry this morning. He's the geek technical for QEX, and we're looking for technical, a little less light. But we are looking for more articles in more technical, also human interest related to technical. For instance, a lot of things that Bob was talking about with APRS, we're looking for things like that. In recent past issues, we've had articles in promoting youth and education. We're very interested in education articles. NASA's Space Grant Consortium program, there's each state and DC and Puerto Rico has a university that's sponsoring that, and they're doing amateur radio related projects. In previous issues, I had an article about the Big Blue project, which is a project that the University of Kentucky is working on along with the Oklahoma State University in developing a flexible wing for an aircraft that eventually is going to be used for exploration on Mars, but they're using amateur radio to launch the flexible wing from a balloon to see how it comes down to Earth. I'm also interested in articles on emergency communications. In the magazine, we have 13 columnists. Columns include hidden transmitters, FM, digital radio. Mark Thompson is our new editor for that. ATV, we just have a new editor for that. Miguel Enriquez. VHF propagation, ballooning. Bill Brown, who's well known in ballooning, writes that column. SETI, Paul N6TX, satellites, Keith Pugh, W5IU, antennas, Kent Britton, HSMM, John Champa, K8OCL, and beginners, Rich Arland will be writing that. And Ken Newbeck writes features as well as Gordon West. And one feature that has really taken off for us is Mark Morrison has been writing a series of articles on history. He started out writing about KH6UK and his contact with W6NLZ. It all goes back to Mark's father had a file cabinet full of letters from Tommy and correspondence, so he culled through that and developed a series of 4 articles that ran last year, and now he started a new series of articles on what is called the Basement Laboratory Group, and Carl Scheidler, W2AZL, that probably rings a bell for some of you old-timers who developed a preamp while he was at Bell Labs. And Mark will continue to be writing articles on that over the next 3 or 4 issues and then go on to something else. The neat thing about what happens with Mark is that when he publishes an article, somebody else will say, well, I know somebody about this, and give him a lead to something else. And we're always looking for more things to be in there. We'd like to add digital modes like WSJT, SDR, APRS, D-Star, Echolink, IRLP, VoIP, and VHF-oriented packet. Simple construction articles. We do a lot of reprinting from proceedings, like I'm going to be looking through the proceedings here and find articles that would be appropriate. Larry talked about simultaneous submissions. And while we and Larry both work on that same idea, we don't like to work on something with simultaneous publications. But as Larry pointed out, you can write something that is geek technical for QEX, and then you can take that same subject and write technical light for us. And we have an ongoing relationship with the AMSAT Journal that we regularly swap articles because we're not quite in the same membership or in the same kind of field of who gets what. We've done reprints of several articles that are appropriate for us, and we go around the country we'll be going to AMSAT next month. This is the first SDR, APRS, and DCC, and we're very happy to run an advertising in the magazine for that. And I think I've been spoiled because of all of the AV that you have here. So the next one, I'll be, as a newbie, I'll be comparing it with this year's and so on. I think all of us newbies will be doing that. Like Larry said, as I've talked about, we can talk about publishing something that is QEX, that's light to QEX. Now, what's different from QEX is, and with us, anything that's published in CQ or CQ Vhf, we publish we request a one-time right to publish. We do not buy your copyright. It's your article. The only thing we ask from you is that we ask you to hold it back from publishing anywhere else for one cycle, which means if we publish something in CQ magazine for 1 month, in QEX for 3 months. So we ask that you embargo your own property for 3 months until, although if somebody says in about 30 days they're getting a lot of requests for the article, we'll say fine, we'll send you a PDF and you can put it on your website or whatever. So we'll work with you on that, but the general policy is we just buy a one-time insertion for your piece of work. Now, CQ, as the editor of CQ's VHF column, if you have something that's newsworthy, that would be VHF oriented, let me know, and I'll put it in my column. And my email address is my call sign N6CL@amsat.org is probably the easiest one to remember. So if you haven't gotten your free copy of CQ Vhf, please stop by the table across from registration. We'll give you your free copy with a deal to sell you a subscription, for a year's subscription as well. And we have a very good deal on that, and I'll go into it with you when you come by the table. Thank you, Steve, for your time.